the Lord. So now, I don't want you to cry so that you cry like you'll never see me again. See, that's where I got to go. See, when you begin to understand how God has put us together, and you can begin to understand that if Christ was the first to rise, that means that in my life I realize that death for me is only temporary. But if I take it to the next level, what you will see is that I myself will never die.
All right.
Children of God, we don't die. To be absent from the body is present with the Lord. He is not the God of the dead, but of the living. So if the body contains my soul, and the body must go back to where it came from, where does my soul go? And if the soul is who I am, not the container, then that means under God, I'm never dead. My body, that physical, sees death, but I never see it. Oh, that's good news right there. So when my loved one, who has just passed, who knew Christ and the pardoning of their sins as Savior, has not died, if he has not died, then I can rejoice. Because he is no longer bound to this earthly dwelling place, but he now resides with God the Father. That's just good news. I'm not saying that you ain't going to miss them, and you should because they are your loved ones, but you need to rejoice in the fact that just because they ain't here with you, don't mean they dead. As a matter of fact, if they could pray for you, they pray that you get up there. Because ultimately, this body for us, we are walking dead. This is an incubation period. We don't see life until we pass from this flesh. The world says we should have despair. The world says you should rejoice. You got to know that even though you will no longer see your loved one, there is a time coming when you will see them again. If they knew Jesus. Here's the trouble part. If they don't know Jesus, you will see them again. In other words, God controls both the death and the life. In other words, when that time comes, you will see your loved ones again, those who are with Christ and those who are not. And the only thing that I don't want to be held against me is that I didn't say something. I didn't want to affect the family. I didn't want to affect the relationship. I would rather affect the family and the relationship so that on that day when I see them, they can't say, well, Ryan didn't tell me about you. Because you can't fix every situation. And there are going to be folks who die who you know who did not accept the Lord. That's a time to be sad. But it ain't time to stop living. You got to keep moving forward. So you got to do all that you can do while the time is available for you to do it, so that when it comes, you can at least feel comfort in yourself knowing that I tried to talk to them. I tried to tell them how much they needed Jesus. And if this sermon will help you out, it should put you in a perspective to let them know, hey, look, death ain't it. Here are the scriptures that will back up my point that death is only temporary, but ultimately to be absent from the body, to be present with the Lord. So if you know him, you can elevate past this life. That's good news. Don't let the world dictate how you deal with folks. Don't let the world dictate how you grieve. Don't let the world tell you what you should be doing, when the word says that in times like these we rejoice because we realize that our loved one is no longer here, don't have to deal with the mess, the pain, the crime, the whatever, the economic crisis, you name it, they ain't got to deal with it no more. We the ones still in trouble. But while we here, we got to deal with it, but as Christians. So we still don't get caught up in all that mess because we know that tomorrow belongs to us. How many folks can say, I don't care what happens today, tomorrow is still mine? See, when you know Christ, you can say that. If I die today, tomorrow's mine. No matter what happens to me today, tomorrow is still mine.